Welcome to Let's Talk Evolution, the podcast where real life experiences meets the complexities of today's tech industry. Each episode, we dive into a specific topic with thought leaders who know the systems, the structures, and the nuances that drive the industry. This series is all about exploring the inner workings of tech and learning from the people who understand it best. I'm Danelle from Evolution Recruitment Solutions, and today I am your host. In this episode, we're exploring how artificial intelligence is reshaping the future of banking. While most financial institutions have adopted AI to improve customer service and automate support functions, a new wave of innovation is emerging around AI-led sales. From identifying customers' needs to recommending products and managing conversations, AI is beginning to play a much larger role in how banks generate revenue and engage with customers. Joining us today is Ilya Kravtsov, founder of Pillar, formerly known as Rinkas. Over the years, Ilya has built and scaled businesses across the Southeast Asia region and beyond, working at the intersection of fintech, mortgages, and digital transformation. More recently, he's been focused on helping financial institutions leverage AI not just as an operational tool, but as a growth engine for sales and consumer engagement. Ilya, welcome to the show. Great to have you. Before we dive in, could you give our listeners a quick introduction about yourself and the journey that led you to founding Pillar?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Ilya. Originally was born in Moscow. I grew up in Italy. So actually graduated from a business school right after the financial crisis. It was very interesting times, and this is where I decided to focus my career on emerging markets. So I've been working across Africa, Middle East, and Southeast Asia. And I would say the past started in management consulting and then quickly transitioned into building startups. So currently I'm at my third startup. My previous startups were mainly in the fintech space. So the first one was a mobile loyalty app. Very early days, we built our first app on BlackBerry, so that early. The second one was in the payment space, which we built across 7 markets in Southeast Asia and eventually exited in 21. And the latest one is intersection of mortgages, banking, and AI. So this one has been around for about 3-4 years. Been a great journey so far. We started out of Asia. Now we also live in the Middle East. So we used to be called Rinkas, and then now we recently rebranded into Pillar. Just a very quick one. What we do, we help large property developers to channel their customers to banks fully digitally. So we digitize that whole mortgage journey for them. And the way we do it is a lot by using the newest technology available out there. So we help pre-qualify customers using AI. So the AI can help customers to advise them what best offers they can get from the banks and help them to guide through that process end to end. And we've seen that is working very well so far and helping to increase conversion rates and so forth. And recently we're also doing a few of other financial products for banks, mostly on cross-selling and upselling, but happy to share more.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction. Great. I'm excited to hear what you have to say about this topic. I think for us, it's good to see the evolution of where AI is going. I think it's starting from automating very simple functions like customer support, and now we're moving on into sales, right, which is something that we're also heavily embedded in. So bringing us to our first question, and that's where most banks currently use AI for, I guess, like you said, customer support, right, and more of like front-end functions. Why do you think the bigger opportunities is in sales?
Well, I think sales is always something that is core to any business, right? So at the end of the day, any business would like to grow their top line, and that's one of the headaches that everybody faces. So I think customer service is where AI naturally started, right? And it's also a function where you really troubleshoot issues. But of course, you can do much more with the current AI available out there. So let me give you a bit of example of the whole evolution, right? So of the banking sector. So at the beginning, banks started with just paper forms and branches, right? That's how it all started. Then over the years, with digital tech emerging, they migrated to digital apps, right, which were really substituting those paper forms, right, not much more. And I think we're entering a very new, exciting era of AI, where banks can really use AI to talk to their customers, to understand what they want in a particular moment of time. So it becomes a lot more contextual, a lot more seamless. And I think this is where it's all going. And of course, if you are offered the right product at the right time, you have much more propensity to buy it, rather than if you're just pushed through more traditional channels where people reach out to you during workouts, you're busy, and so on. Right. So we believe that a lot of these traditional bank branches or even digital apps will be eventually substituted with AI, where the sales agents from AI sales agents can do a lot of the work that traditionally the relationship managers can do. So that's where we see this whole trend going, but we are still very early days, right? So we'll
Mm.
see how it all gonna play out.
Okay, right. Yeah, I think banks have historically used, I guess, technology to reduce cost and improve efficiency. So hopefully we're moving there in the near future. I think it brings on to our second question, right? I think, and that is like, how does an end-to-end AI-led sales journey look like, right? Like, how does AI agents help bank cross-sell, upsell financial products to existing customers?
Yeah, so diving a little bit deeper on how these products work is that AI is very good at analyzing data, right? So you can have specific agents, AI agents that go and segment customer data, right? For example, you have an existing database of customers. Let's say you have existing database of mortgage customers, so usually with a quite long tenure, and mortgage product makes a lot of sense in combination with other products to increase your yield. So let's assume that you have a database of 10 million customers and you want to upsell and cross-sell. So AI would be very good at segmenting those customers. And then you can have another AI agent who would match those segmented customers with the right loan products to upsell and cross-sell. And then you can have your AI sales agent automatically reaching out to those customers in the right moment of time, based on the context and all the information previously analyzed, and try to do the selling piece, right? So it can be done, of course, voiceover or over chat. I think in Southeast Asia, we see chat is the main function on how people interact with you. So imagine, instead of chatting to a relationship manager or receiving a call from a call center, you would receive a message from an AI advisor who would say, look, you this month you already spent all your salary. How about you take a personal loan, because there's still 10 days left in the month, so you can still basically enjoy and not limit yourself, right? Or if you have, for example, a high medical bill, the AI can contact you right after you visited the office and offer you a loan as well. So it becomes a lot more contextual, a lot more conversation based, and the idea here is also you want to make sure that AI is kind of the ultimate truth, right? Sometimes talking to middlemen, it can be also misleading in emerging markets, but that AI usually very never really lies, right? So that's very important, and to build trust. And that's how we see more and more sales will be done in the future. And this is just the beginning. Of course, you can do a lot more.
Okay, and I guess the follow-up question to that, I think, like, so far, I mean, through kind of building this product, how do you see the adoption to be across the banks and also end users?
So I think we're still very early, as I said, right? So this makes it on one end challenging, but on the same end also very exciting, right? So the challenging end, of course, AI transformation, same like digital transformation, will take some time, right? They call AI diffusion, so how fast really AI is diffused. And banking is a very regulated, heavy compliance sector. So of course, there's always a lot of resistance at the beginning to make sure that the solutions that are being offered are compliant, are safe for the customers, right? But I think a lot of those questions are already being answered. So now here it's a matter of establishing a very clear ROI case for the directors of banks to engage in buying AI. And I think the ROI and the formula here is very simple. On one hand, you have your traditional sales channel, which is branches or call center. And then you have the impact that this sales channel generates. So impact minus cost, right? On the other hand of the formula, you have your cost, which is the AI cost, and then the impact is how much AI can sell, right? So what you want to make sure that in that equation, the right side of the equation with AI generates overall a higher number than the left side, right? If that is valid, then you have a very clear ROI case, and then you can build a parallel organization and test it out and see if it does better than the current organization. And that's what we see gradually starting to happen, right? People are engaging into POCs, banks are engaging into testing it out. I think last year it was still, let's say, on the slower end, but this year it's really changing rapidly with especially all the new release of the LLM models like Claude and so on, right? So it's a very dynamic sector at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, good to see. And it's good to also be in the forefront of how that's shaping up, right? I think that brings us to our last question. I think we spoke about it when we met a couple of weeks ago. And I think normally I do try to shape our last question to be a bit more of giving back to our community in terms of a people kind of question. And the last question is basically, as AI replaces repetitive work, I guess, throughout banks or just in general different industries, how should professionals or fresh graduates think about staying relevant?
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about AI that AI will gonna kill all the jobs, etc. Right? And there's a lot of fear as well, right? So sometimes even communities don't want data centers to be built because they're worried that more data centers, more compute, more AI, and they see it as an evil. To be honest with you, I never have seen AI or any technological progress as something evil or something that is gonna bring the end of the world. I think it just depends on how you see it and how you use it, right? So, for example, the flip side of AI is that anybody in a today environment can go and build very fast, right? So you don't need to hire whole teams to build a product. You don't need the whole team to do research, right? So you can have, you can be by yourself and have a whole team of agents doing different tasks that before require a whole company, right? And that, will create a lot more entrepreneurs in the future, right? And similar also, if you are not an entrepreneur, but if you're working for an organization, it's very similar, right? You can have a lot of help by creating sub agents that report to you, so you can be a lot more productive, right? And do a lot of more things, right? So there's this Jevons paradox, right? Where they say that if technological evolution makes it easier to do, it doesn't mean that it will replace necessarily everything, but it will just augment, and you will do more of it, right? So I think that is where I see it personally going. So I think for whoever is graduating now, it's actually a very exciting time because you can be on the forefront of that. You can really learn. It's a lot more difficult for somebody who's been 20 years doing something, right, to catch up, even though definitely all the information is available, so it's not impossible.
Okay, I think during our chat as well when we met, I think you mentioned that there will be some roles that will inevitably be replaced by AI. I think in that case, right, I mean, in your opinion, which skills or roles do you think will become actually more valuable now that AI is coming into play?
Look, I think the administrative tasks and everything that actually people don't like doing will be replaced, right? And I think any task where you will need, you need to be in a managerial role, you need to make decision, you need to have judgment, right? All that will still stay very much relevant, right? So the idea is that, if you can replace the administrative task, you can just be more efficient in what you do, right? So you can do more of it. So I think it's just very important to understand that you cannot just be a purely executor in this world, right? Because if you're just an executor, right, then some of this tasks can be replaced, but you also need to be a manager and a thinker, right? And that's what I would encourage everybody who is entering the job world and so on to start thinking like that, because sometimes when you're junior it's very hard to kind of switch mindset from, and I remember it to myself, right, between just executing tasks that your manager tells you or actually proactively thinking what you need to do and how you delegate and so on and so forth, right? So I think you start doing more of this early on in your career, right? And that's great, right? And then you have a lot of help, which is basically automation.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, thanks for sharing. I think a lot of us are still trying to figure out this AI wave and where that's headed for us and I guess for businesses, right? And that's a wrap for this episode of Let's Talk Evolution. A huge thank you to you, Ilya, for sharing your insights on how AI is transforming the banking industry, creating new opportunities in sales, customer engagement, and the future of work. From AI-powered financial advisors to changing roles of professionals in an increasingly automated world, today's conversation offers a fantastic look at where banking may be headed next. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to stay tuned, leave us a review, and share the episode with your network. We've got more conversations coming your way with the people shaping the future of tech from the inside out. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Danielle from Evolution Recruitment, and I'll see you next time on Let's Talk Evolution.